flare between Thailand and Cambodia as President Donald Trump announces a ceasefire effective from Friday. Following renewed clashes along their 817 kilometers border, Trump has said that both leaders, Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul of Thailand and Cambodia's Hun Manet, has agreed to halt the fighting after days of artillery and rocket exchanges. However, hours after Trump's announcement, Thailand's military reportedly dropped bombs on Cambodian territory, raising doubts about the ceasefire's credibility. While Cambodia's Prime Minister Manet has called for verification from the U.S. and Malaysia, urging clarity on who fired first. Despite Trump's efforts, the border conflict continues to escalate, with both sides blaming each other for the renewed violence. Let's listen into what the U.S. President has shared about this.
I think we just did a very good job with Thailand and Cambodia. We had them stopped, and I've been saying I stopped 8 wars, but they started shooting at each other 2 days ago. It wasn't good. And we got it, I think, straightened out today. So Thailand and Cambodia is in good shape. So we get a lot done. 8 wars. Nobody's ever stopped 8 wars. We have 1 more to go. The easiest one, I thought, would be a country that you're somewhat familiar with, Russia and Ukraine. But a lot of progress is being made even there.
For this discussion, we welcome back Dr. Asta Chadha. She's an Associate Professor of International Relations, joins us live from Kyoto. Thank you very much, Dr. Chadha, for staying with us. Now, from your analysis, how effective has U.S. role been in this particular conflict over here between Thailand and Cambodia?
Well, I mean, if we follow this conflict, it's a decades-long conflict that has existed, and that is pretty much where I think is the weakest point in terms of a U.S. brokered peace or ceasefire, because the fact that this is a long-standing, unresolved dispute, the fact that according to an ICJ ruling, this was back then the Priya Vihar temple, which is pretty much the ground, the ancient Hindu temple, and the areas surrounding it on which this conflict is currently based. It was awarded to Cambodia, but Thailand never accepted those border demarcations. The fact that this conflict is an inheritance that both nations have in terms of their post-colonial statehood. And lastly, the fact that this conflict has time and again been brought up for domestic political gains. Any peace that is brokered by any third party, whether it is within the ASEAN or outside of the ASEAN, stands on very thin ground in terms of holding long term. And this is what we saw happened. So back in July, when President Trump had mentioned that he had successfully stopped a conflict, we know that it never really got resolved. And then again, with the current announcement, the most recent announcement he made of a ceasing of all shooting, we once again see that that is not what is happening on the ground. And hence you have 2 conflicting parties, Thailand on one hand that does not accept that border demarcation, and Cambodia on the other hand who wants an investigation into who started firing first. This shows us how fragile this whole ceasefire process and this whole peace process is. And the third aspect of this, brokered peace is the fact that probably for President Trump it was important to bring both the parties to the discussion table and in a hurry or quickly try to resolve this in whatever way possible. But for Malaysia, Malaysia is a party from the region. And Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, he has a very good reputation in both Cambodia and Thailand as being a very neutral party. And currently Malaysia is also serving as the ASEAN chair. So given that, working in favor of Malaysia, it is probably the only country who has given ASEAN way and given ASEAN's non-interference principle. Malaysia currently stands as the only party who could probably ensure that this time, if there is a dialogue that takes place, this time if they can be promised that they would conduct some sort of an investigation into who fired first, or ensuring that deterring both Cambodia and Thailand from engaging in further conflict, we could look towards peace. But otherwise it looks very much like an ongoing conflict, which could be paused at times, but it is posing a major humanitarian and economic crisis for mainland Southeast Asia.
Thank you for highlighting that. With that, I would like to thank Dr. Asta Chadha for joining us today from Kyoto and sharing that insight throughout our news.